Hi, and welcome to This Is Gravel. Thanks for coming back. We're going to talk about, in this episode, a little segment we call What's in My Bag. Lead into LeLan's segment, What's Up with Nutrition. And then Yuri Hauswald was in town last week for the Dirty Kanza training camp, and we're going to hear from Yuri. LeLan, anything new going on with you the past couple weeks?
Well, unfortunately, not enough bike riding and too much housework, but sometimes you got to do that. But you were able to get out on your bike this past weekend, right? You made it up for the second running of the Gravelier's Raid in Lawrence, Kansas. How did that go?
I had a blast up there. Before we get into that, I do want to warn the viewers out there, if you see my eyes do this, or me do this to LeLan, it's totally because we got a brand new little TV up there and it gets to show us what we're doing on the show as we're doing it. And it's really cool. If I grab over here though, it's because the cameras are reversed. So I apologize for that.
And as you know, Bobby doesn't know what to do with his hands to begin with.
Yes. So
Gravelier's Raid.
Gravelier's Raid. Nothing but hills. Hard packed gravel though. It was very dusty. No mud, which meant that you could have a fast day. However, the wind was 20 plus miles per hour all day long from the southeast, which happened to be the second 50 miles of the course. So it was tough. It was fun though. We finished, a friend and I finished right around 7.5 hours, Smitty Smith, from here in Emporia on the Mulready's team. So yeah, we had a blast.
Excellent. Yeah, I think maybe it's just my memory failing me, but this seems to be a windy spring. Last year it was real wet. This year it's been real windy, and I'm not sure which is worse or better. It's
kind of disappointing when you pull up, your weather app, and all you see is wind for 5 days straight. So yeah. So I might still be on the trainer a little bit here and there. So. Gravel Guru followed us up to the Gravelier's Raid this weekend, and we were able to get some footage. Matt Fowler has a clip for you, and if you don't mind, we'll take a look.
Hey everybody, can I have your attention please? And you wait for them to get assistance. Come see me, please. I wish I had both, but it's not enough.
Excellent. Looked like a great time. Again, only in its second year of that event. I can only imagine it's going to grow from there and get better and better each year. So this is in true gravel grinding fashion. Most gravel events do not allow support on course. So for this one, being a 100-miler, there was one checkpoint halfway in. Is that correct?
Sorry. Yeah. That was correct. It's kind of cool. I took a selfie of me taking a selfie. Yes, it was. There was a drop bag that was we were allowed to have for the 50-mile checkpoint. Most events I have gone to have been set up to where you can, you got the convenience store and that kind of a thing. I wanted to get through this as quickly as I could, so I wanted to just try to use only what's in the drop bag and not even enter the gas station that was there. So with that, a little bit of thought and planning went into it, and we'll lead into that section. So what exactly goes into a drop bag for an endurance gravel event? When I think about what I want to place into the bag, what I try to focus most on is what the weather is going to be like, what type of gravel we're going to have at the event, and the distance that we're going to have between checkpoints. So we're only going to have one checkpoint, or we're going to have multiple. What we're going to talk about today is the drop bag that I prepared for last weekend's Gravelers raid in Lawrence, Kansas. It was a 100-mile gravel event. The gravel was perfectly dry, pretty smooth, and the weather was perfect, so I didn't have to worry about too many layers. So what I focused on for that event was what you see here on the table in front of you, which was food, hydration, spare equipment, and some comfort at the 50-mile checkpoint. For food, I'm always tweaking a little bit. I wanted to try something different this event and try to keep it as simple as possible for myself. So I focused on gels and chews, and if I needed it, I had a energy bar. I was going to try to stay away from that and focus on things that are easier to digest and consume while on the bike. The point of this checkpoint was to get in, get out as quickly as possible and not have to spend more than just a couple minutes. For hydration, I have a mix that I usually do. I had some Scratch Labs, I had some goo packets, goo hydration mix, and some electrolyte tablets. The point was I did not bring spare water bottles. I used the existing water bottles I had on my bike. The water was provided to us, so I knew that with the individual packets like this, I could just dump and go into the bottle. If you have a larger container of the mix, then you have to pre-measure things out, and it's a little bit difficult to get in and out quickly. I did keep in my back pocket for the last 25 miles or so a little bit of Coke, and definitely for the last 15 miles a little bit of Red Bull. Sometimes I mix this with a bottle of water. Other times I'll just down the whole Red Bull no sooner than about 15 miles from the finish line. I don't want it to cause me to bonk out too quick. Equipment, I knew since the gravel was going to be pretty smooth and the weather was going to be really good that I didn't expect mud, that kind of things. So I focused on if I had a flap, I had a spare tube, spare CO2, and I have broken my tire levers before, so I always throw some extras in there. I don't want to where I used to be ended just because I didn't have a tire lever with me. Last but not least is some comfort. You never know how you're going to feel after 50 miles, so I always try to keep a little extra chamois butter on the bike with me. That was it for this race weekend. If it had been a little muddy, if it had been a little warmer out there, I would have thrown some optional equipment into the bag, such as maybe some pre-made water bottles, maybe a fourth water bottle for my back, definitely chain lube and a rag. I usually try to keep this actually on the bike, but if necessary, I would have had some extra in the bag also. The other equipment that you would think of, possibly the derailleur hanger, that kind of thing, it's either on the bike or it's not going to do me any good. So this is it for the drop bag. So I hope you learned something, and good luck at your next event.
Bobby, that was a great looking drop bag. So how did that work out for you?
It worked out almost perfect this time. The only thing that I couldn't put in the drop bag was a slice of warm Casey's pizza, which I did sneak into Casey's and grab some pizza. But,
well, unfortunately, if you're doing a gravel grinder in the Midwest, particularly in Kansas, chances are your checkpoint town will have a Casey's convenience store nearby. So yes,
but as far as the on-the-bike nutrition and having sufficient nutrition in the drop bag, that worked perfect. I'm sure you can tell me a little bit more about it, but I tried to go with about a bottle an hour, and tried to go with a little bit of goo, gels about every 45 minutes to an hour. I tried to do 45 minutes, but
yeah. And nutrition is such a personal thing. You guys are probably getting tired of us saying that, but the truth is you got to figure out what works best for you. We can't tell you this is what you need to eat or this is how often you need to eat it. There are some guidelines, and I've had an opportunity to kind of talk about we're gonna have to do something about this screen up there.
Sorry.
So I've had a chance to kind of talk about what the calories look like and how much you should try to eat each hour, regardless of what it is that you're eating. So let's take a look at that. Hello everyone, welcome to Gravel City. We are down here and we're going to talk a little bit more about nutrition. This is a subject we've touched on already. We're going to continue to talk a lot about it. And one thing we usually comment on is that it's a very personal journey to nutrition. And so that's very true. Everyone needs to figure out what works for them. But there is a kind of some guiding principles we've talked about. One of them being you need to aim for 200 to 300 calories. The exact number of calories per hour that you need to consume, again, it is personal to you. So you need to find out that right number. But we know it's somewhere in the range of 200 to 300 calories. So today I wanted to show you what 200 to 300 calories looks like in a few different products and food items. So, GU products, we've got the GU Roctane. Roctane is 240 calories per bottle. So in this bottle is my hourly intake right there. GU also makes the GU gels. Each gel packet is about 100 calories. So depending on your needs, you can have 1, 2, or 3. 2 of them, of course, would be 200 calories. 3 gel packets would be 300 calories. You might want to mix in some other options with that, though. In addition to the gels, they have the GU chews. Again, these are 90 calories per packet. So just about 100 calories, 2 or 3, depending on your needs for that. Moving away from GU products, there's also solid food items. Now, what solid food items you need to eat, again, that's for you to figure out. But I can show you, I really prefer peanuts or almonds. 1 or 2 handfuls is about 200 calories. I like to take these on my rides. I also prefer Laura bars. These are 7 ingredients or less and about 220 calories. So I can eat 1 of these each hour and get my calorie intake that way. There's all kinds of options out there. Depending on the temperatures and how long I'm riding, I might take a cheese stick. A couple of cheese sticks would be about 200 calories. So there's tons of options out there. Experiment. Figure out what works best for you. But the most important thing is that you are eating something every hour. You can't really play catch up so much. If you miss an hour and get behind in your calories, it's not so easy to then just double up on the next hour and try to make up for that. You also need to find products that you like to eat and products that you like to eat 4 hours into the ride, 6 hours, 10 hours, 15 hours, however long you plan on being out there, because food items start to taste differently the longer you're out there. And lastly, I would say make sure that it's easy to consume and easy to get to. You want to be able to get to your food quickly and make it easy to eat. So with a bar like this, I might pre-open it and put it in my bag. That way I don't have to try to open it when I'm on my bike or tear open my gel packet. That way it's open and ready to go. So send us your questions on nutrition. There's lots to know and lots to learn, but the most important thing is to get out there and try what works for you.
LeLan, thanks for that. So last week, was it? We had you had the Dirty Kanza training camp, and we had Yuri from GU Energy Labs here in town, and I think he had a chance to sit down and visit with you for a while, didn't he?
Yeah, training camp was fantastic. We had Yuri down, and he was able to come spend some time in the studio with us. Always love hearing from Yuri. He's a fantastic person, and of course, he's the reigning champion of Dirty Kanza. So anytime we can chat with him and get his input, that's always fantastic.
Does he ever rest?
Maybe when he's on the plane. I don't know. We'll have to ask Yuri that one.
Right. I just noticed he's always traveling and always doing some really cool stuff on the bike. So
he's a great representative for GU Energy Labs for sure. They've been a fantastic sponsor of Dirty Kanza for quite some time. So
he had a chance to come into the studio, I believe, and have a chat with us.
We were able to talk a little bit about some new products that GU Energy has coming out and a few other items. So let's hear from Yuri.
Okay.
Well, Yuri, that looks fantastic. Why don't you tell me a little bit about your new flask and the larger serving size pouch?
So we wanted to do a number of things with our new bulk serving package. Obviously, it's 15 servings One of the main things we want to do is cut down on the waste, the amount of gels that people are having to open when they're out on the trails. And so we paired the new 15 serving bulk with a cool 5 serving flask that you're able to fill up, and then use that out on the trail or on the bike or whatever. But it just cuts down on the number of gel packets you're having to open and the opportunity for the tops to come off or them to, you know, accidentally come out of your pockets and stuff like that, because we're really committed to wanting to keep the environment clean. So those were the main 2 pushes behind those products.
Well, I know you get asked a lot how many gels you are consumed, and not only how many you consume, but where you stash those wrappers. So now you can really not have to worry about where you're stuffing.
True, yeah, because I'm cramming wrappers everywhere during the DK. So.
Well, and the other benefit, of course, Dirty Kanza Promotions is obviously very interested in keeping the Flint Hills pristine. That's one of the things that attracts people out here to this event, and we want to enjoy the views and not the trash along the road. And we want to be good stewards. We want our participants to be good stewards and not leave waste out there. So that's a little bit less, and we understand that sometimes things get away from you and wrappers fly away. Dirty Kanza does go out, and we have Clean Kanza the week after Dirty Kanza, where we go out and clean up the course. So this will make our job a little bit easier, make the ranchers and landowners a little bit happier.
Yeah.
It's a win-win for everybody.
Well, and then you guys have also partnered up with TerraCycle, which is to explain to the viewers here, it's a recycling program that we as a company have subscribed to, and it allows promoters like yourselves, events, to basically collect all of our sports nutrition wrappers in a box, and then they send you a mailing label, and you send it in, and those wrappers get turned into plastic pellets, which then get turned into playground equipment or benches or this, that.
Exactly.
So it's a really fun thing to be a part of because, like I said, we're really committed to trying to do our part towards keeping the environment clean and reusing or recycling things.
Well, obviously we love GOO products, but there's a lot of reasons we like GOO as a company, and this is one of them. I can't understate that enough. That, I mean, you guys are fronting the bill for us to send those in and have them recycled. GOO has committed themselves to really leading the charge on recycling that waste, and we're just happy to be a part of it and send that stuff in.
I mean, it's really important, you know, our executives, I mean, who are all athletes and who all enjoy being outdoors on their bike or on the trails. I mean, they're committed to this, and so obviously, you know, we've invested in it, and we're appreciative when event promoters actually take advantage of it. We can promote it together, and you guys have been doing that here at camp, trying to collect people's wrappers, so that's rad.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Yeah.
Well, to switch gears a little bit on you, you know, I think people have been getting to hear your story. You've talked about how winning Dirty Kanza hasn't changed you as a person, but I think it has definitely opened up a lot of eyes to Yuri Hauswald and who you are, and I think that's great. That's
kind of scary.
Dirty Kanza has become
scary.
that type of event, but I would love for you to share, you know, you're from the West Coast. You're from California, where gravel is
non-existent.
Non-existent. It's a little bit different on the dirt roads out there. So tell me a little bit about your first time here at Dirty Kanza a few years back, and how that's kind of taken hold of you, because now you're coming back for multiple events in the Midwest throughout the year.
Yeah. So I first discovered the Dirty Kanza in 2013. We were already a product sponsor. I'm not sure how many years prior we had been connected as your product sponsor. You guys have been involved
since the early days.
Yeah,
for sure.
so maybe 6-7 years now. And I just came out here on a whim with the Carmichael Training Systems folks, and found myself at the pointy end of things with Mr. Dan Hughes, 4-time DK King. And was bit by the bug, the camaraderie. That was the year that we four of us crossed the line arm in arm across, and let you guys decide how you wanted to place us. Just for the record, I got the short end of the stick.
Well, I think that has changed a little bit, as you put it, at the point end of the race. I don't think we'll see too many gentlemen's agreements at the front end of the race.
No, I mean, this was truly, you know, brothers in arms, a band of brothers. At the end, there was 4 of us who had been together and not together because of flats. In the last 20 miles, we found ourselves together again and worked really hard. And there was a couple folks who were probably hurting and wouldn't have made it if we hadn't all worked together. And so we just decided, why sprint each other? We've been riding together for the last 20 miles. Like, it makes no point. So it's fun. And then, you know, obviously fell in love with it, and felt like if I hadn't had a couple untimely flats, things might have been a little bit different. Went out and did Rebecca's Private Idaho that year. Once again, found myself with Dan Hughes, and that was the beginnings of this epic battle. And then came back in 2014, and suffered some more flats, and sitting in a ditch at the end of the race with the buzzard circling. But for some reason I decided I wanted to come back again and set that as like my A race goal, even though I didn't totally believe I could win the 2015 Dirty Kanza.
Yeah. Yeah. You mentioned that you and Dan now have competed at a few different events, and I can't help but think of an article I just read on Cycling News where they were, of course, talking about the storied rivalry of Tom Bonin and Fabian Cancellara, and now we have, in the gravel world, we have our own Gravel Godzilla versus Mothra. Of course, Yuri being the Gravel Godzilla, Dan his Mothra, and the two of you kind of go back and forth between RPI and Dirty Kanza and
Gravel Worlds
now. Yeah, so you've got a few events that you guys are looking forward to seeing each other at. But I think in that same mentality of gravel, even for you guys who are tough competitors and out there to win, and maybe finishing isn't the simple goal for you, you want to finish well, there's still great friendships there, right?
Yeah, I mean, I won't go into the details, but when I first met Dan in 2012, we weren't friends.
You can see those thoughts in the April issue of Road Magazine.
Correct, I wrote about it. I actually called Dan a prick in like the second sentence of the article. But that has since changed. We've spent a lot of time suffering together on the bike, and have developed a deep respect for each other. So yeah, it's been countless, hundreds and hundreds of gravel miles together, which has just deepened this respect and friendship. So yeah, I look forward to more years of doing it. But you talk about the competition in gravel, and the bar just keeps getting raised. I mean, word on the street,
yes,
right, for 2016 is we have Tim Johnson and Ted King.
Yeah, there's no backing out now, fellas.
It's on camera, boys. So, it just keeps taking it up another notch.
Yeah.
And then you have guys like Neil Shirley and Brian Jensen and local folks coming back, and it's really fun to be a part of it and watch it grow. I mean, I'm a baby in the whole scheme of things when it comes to gravel, since I just discovered it in 2013.
Yeah, we love that guys like Ted and Tim are starting to take notice. We love that Reba has been a part of our event for a number of years now. We love that caliber of rider, but I think, what keeps people coming back to Dirty Kanza, I think there's a lot of fun to get on the start line and say that you're on the start line with those kinds of folks. But we as promoters, we think it's every bit as special when that last person crosses as much as that first person. And we're out there all day greeting everyone and congratulating everyone that comes across. And I think you don't always see that at events.
Yeah, I can speak directly to that, having sponsored Ironman events and being at Ironman Kona, the World Championships. Seeing the pros cross the finish line, that's awesome. But it's, from 11 o'clock to midnight, those last finishers coming in that give you goosebumps and bring you to tears when you see those people coming across the finish line who've been out there for 16, 17 hours, really struggling to tick this, bucket list event off. And you guys see that, and you've created this amazing event that pushes people well beyond what they thought they could do.
Yeah.
And that video, I Ride for Her, captures the raw emotion of the Kanza better than anything
Very
could.
well.
Yeah, there are not many events out there that elicit that kind of emotion.
Absolutely.
Right? Yeah. So.
Well, Yuri, thanks for joining us. Anything else you'd like to add before we part ways here? Thanks for being in town.
Yeah, no, I just want to wish Dan Hughes a speedy recovery. This will be the first time that this goes out, I guess, into whatever the YouTube land. But Dan Hughes unfortunately broke his scapula. We were riding down to gravel camp. So I wish Dan Hughes a speedy recovery, and hope to be competing against him later this summer or whenever he recovers.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you need to be tough to win 4 Dirty Kanzas, but Dan not only broke his scapula, but clavicle and bent the plate he already had in there, and 4 ribs yesterday morning. So best wishes to you, Dan, on a speedy recovery as well.
Yeah, Mothra, bring it back, man.
All right, thanks. Always great to hear from Yuri. He's an amazing friend, good ambassador for the sport, for sure. In fact, while Yuri was in the studio, he even dropped us off some swag to be given away to our viewers. So Goo Energy donated a water bottle, some hydration, 2 hydration mix packets, and a couple electrolyte tabs. And Chamois Butter was even so generous to give us a bottle of chamois butter. So the winner of the photo caption contest, which you will be captioning this photo, the best caption that wins will win one of these prize packages. We've got the original, if you prefer, or the her for the ladies, or the gentlemen. We don't judge if you prefer to be lavender scented.
Your choice.
You know how we feel about chamois butter on this show?
Absolutely. Grab a tube, sit down, watch the show.
Yeah, so be on the lookout for that picture being posted to the Gravel Guru Facebook page. Follow us on social media. Make sure to give your shout outs to the Casual Cyclist, Bobby Thompson. And thank you for watching this week's show.
And?
Oh, are we forgetting something?
And?
Oh, that's right.
And?
What did you do recently, Bobby?
I got to race Yuri.
That's right. In case you forgot, Bobby got to take on the reigning Dirty Kanza champion in a true sprint here in Emporia while Yuri was in town. And what more can be said about it? I think we just got to watch it.
I would love to watch it. I have not got to see it yet. So, see you next week. Hey, I'm the Casual Cyclist right here with Yuri Hauswald. We're going to actually do our sprint race today that Yuri was so nice to accommodate me. We had to tell you a little bit about our bikes right now. I am riding a Trek Mystic 20-incher with about 40 PSI in the tires. I have my hydration bottle, because as Yuri says, you always want to stay hydrated. I have my tube, because you never know in a sprint race when you may need to change your flat. I have lights in case I get lost down the alleyway. I even have a stem in case I need to get more aero in my geometry. Last but not least, I have a crank just in case I put too much torque on the bike. My secret weapon, if Yuri gets too far ahead of me, is I have a dart, because there's no holds barred in back street racing. Yuri, you want to tell me a little bit your bike?
Yeah, well, first of all, thank you, Grady, for letting me ride your bike. I'm really stoked to be riding your bike, man. Hopefully I don't get in trouble with my sponsor, Marin. But I am on a Mako, at least it both starts with an M. I'm on a Mako Next. Looks like it might be some sort of aluminum thing with possibly some hints of rust, which makes it a lot faster. And I'm not sure
a lot of
how
suspension
much.
on
A lot
there.
of suspension. Not sure how much I have. Front end is feeling a little twitchy, but that's okay. I'm excited to ride Grady's bike.
I'm on a fixed gear, and he's got 5 gears, so he's got a little bit of advantage on me there if we get to some hills.
True, and I'm running some Falcon shifter in here, something like that.
All right.
Never seen it before. I think it's top secret. Oh yeah, the finish.
Oh, sweet. Run, Leland, run!
All I know is he's going down, and thank you, Grady, for the bike.
Man, that's one of the toughest races I've done right there. I'm exhausted.
Yeah, it's tough, man. It's tough business.